And then he said to me, "Oh my God, you look just like Shakira." "No, no, you're Catherine Zeta." And then I said to him, "Well, actually, my name is ElliXia." Hello to all my wonderful 16 regular viewers. Thank you very much for joining me. It's lovely to see you again. You're watching a brand new series. Welcome to the first installation of ElliXia's Discography Dives, a series in which I delve into the discography of some of my favourite singers and groups. Very similar to my Kylie retrospectives that I did last year, and I thought it was so enjoyable that I wanted to do it again. But I figured artist retrospective doesn't quite have the same ring to it, so that's why I decided to go with Discography Dives, because we are diving into the discography. Whose discography are we diving into this season? We are going to be diving into the wonderful discography of one of my favourite artists, Marina, formerly known as Marina and the Diamonds. That's right, everyone's favourite half Greek, half Welsh singer, Marina Lambrini Diamandis. This series won't be as long as the previous one because there's only 4 albums to go through in the lead up to her new album Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land, which comes out on the 11th of June at the time of recording. And of course, in case you didn't know, I am ElliXia Q Valentine, Malvern's answer to Shakira. Well, actually no, maybe I'm Malvern's answer to Catherine Zeta. No, actually, maybe I am just ElliXia, and I will try not to use that joke again. Without further ado, the first entry to this series is Marina's debut album, The Family Jewels. Released on the 15th of February 2010, although we in the UK, we didn't get it until the 22nd of February, not really sure why. The album reached number 5 in the UK albums chart, and we had the singles Obsessions. There's quite a few singles to remember. It gave us the singles Obsessions, Mowgli's Road, Hollywood, I Am Not a Robot, Oh No, and Champagne. A whole 6 singles, Katy Perry Who. You might notice as well, this is a CD that I bought from Morrison's, and it has the Morrison's price sticker on it as well. Because for whatever reason I just never took it off. Today's look is inspired by the Mowgli's Road music video because there's quite a bit of a blue and orange motif, if you will. I also feel like I am serving you B&M Bargain's Eleganza Extravaganza, or whatever you want to call it. Other supermarkets are available, of course. So, without further ado, let's dive in. My history with Marina, I've been a fan of Marina since this album. I didn't get into it straight away. I bought the album about like 3 months after it came out. I really liked it. It took me a while to get into, I think. At this point, I only knew the songs Hollywood and I'm Not a Robot because they had been in the charts and they did relatively well. Following this album though, I was fully on board the Marina stan train, as it were. With Electra Heartfruit, Love and Fear, I went to the tours of all of those. I had loads of merchandise to do with them. So fortunately for the Family Jewels, I don't really have that experience. But it's still an album that I adore, and it was definitely one of my favourite albums of 2010 as well. So, the first song we have on our album today is Are You Satisfied? Are you satisfied? Well, I know I am with this song. Are You Satisfied actually perfectly sums up, I think, what you're in for a listening experience over the next 45 minutes or however long the album is. I think Are You Satisfied is like textbook what this album is going to be. And like the song deals with sort of Marina's anxiety of like where she is in life. That's quite a common theme throughout a lot of Marina's songs, to be fair. And hey, hard relate, let me just say that. And like with the song, there's sort of acknowledgements of like faults that she has, but then at the same time, it's like, well, it's not my problem, or it's my problem if I want to do this, and it's like, you don't have to get involved, it's just my internal issue that I'm dealing with. You know, she sings about pulling out her hair when the day she got her record deal, and it's like, yeah, I relate to that, because, you know, I don't need to pull out my hairs because they just molt. Anyway, yeah, Are You Satisfied really does sum up Marina's sort of quirky vocal delivery where she is quite, I don't know how you describe it other than quirky, but you know what you're in for, I think, with this opening track. Track 2, we have Champagne with an S. And that's a fairly regular Marina trope, is to sort of spell things in a different way, which I always appreciated. Champagne is quite synthy and talks about, well, drinking champagne and sort of losing yourself in like the frivolity. I like the line, "Savour the taste of fabricated wealth," because it's like, it's probably really cheap champagne, but it is okay. Drink it and you drink enough champagne, you'll believe anything, won't you? So, Champagne's got a fantastic music video as well, which features Marina having like a sort of hallucination daydream in some random park where loads of women who are like, not zombies per se, but they sort of behave like it, like doing like some of the Thriller choreography, you know, the iconic, I'm not gonna do it. And it's all in like Marina's head, but all these women have like really disheveled hair and outfits and stuff. That real like shabby chic thing that was like a proper big thing back then. Champagne's a fantastic song. I seem to remember Marina saying that it, like in retrospect, is not really a song that she's that keen on, but I really like it. I think in an interview she said something like it would have been better suited for somebody like Kylie, and maybe that's why I like it so much. Up next we have the song I Am Not a Robot. I'm Not a Robot was initially released as a single, I think the second single back in 2009, but then it got a re-release after the album was released in 2010, and that's how I heard of I'm Not a Robot. Now let me tell you, I was obsessed with I'm Not a Robot. That was like, if I ever had an audition where I had to do like a pop song, I Am Not a Robot would be my choice, always. Because it's kind of quirky, and it shows off good vocal range because there's a lot of high notes and then there's quite a lot of lower stuff. I don't know the technical terms, but you know what I mean. I'm Not a Robot is a lovely song about somebody who's just being a bit, trying to be somebody they're not, and you know, trying to act all tough, and it's like, you don't have to do that. You haven't got to do that, babe. You're not a robot. It's, you know, you can show feelings and you can, you know, be vulnerable. The video is really cool as well when she has those different like styles of makeup and there's wind machines in her hair. It's all like, I really like I'm Not a Robot. It's very lovely, I think. And I think it's also a very important lesson because there are a lot of people out there who really do try and be somebody they're not, and they're trying to be tougher than they are, and it's like, babes, you can drop the facade. It's all right. Then on to track 4, we have Girls. Now, Girls is a bit of a tricky one because I loved it at the time, but in 2021, not even in 2021 actually, you know, probably in 2010, the song is a bit misogynistic. It's very, I'm not like other girls, kind of, you know. It's kind of a critique of the expectations that women are expected to adhere to. You know, talk about always being on a diet and never looking a day past 30 and not being dirty and all this kind of stuff. And I get the mentality of, well, fuck all that, I'm just gonna be as gross as I want to be. I don't care about looking thin and looking pretty and all that stuff. I get that, and I feel like it's maybe a critique of, like, you know, the patriarchy society that we live in, and there is a whole culture, isn't there, of the expectations that women are meant to look like, what they're meant to be doing with their lives, and it's always a load of bollocks because it's always contradictory and not consistent. But I feel like sort of where the song Girls kind of falls a bit short is the sort of level of superiority of like, well, I'm not like all you other girls. I'm better than that because I don't care about being pretty, you know, whatever. And it's attacking the wrong people. It's attacking the product of the problem. But I think Marina herself has acknowledged that it's a little bit cringe, the track now, because the lyrics are a bit, But hey, we all learn and we all grow, so. Then on to track 5, we have Mowgli's Road, which was the third single released, but kind of like the album's lead single, and where the inspiration for this ensemble came from. It deals with a lot of existentialism, like existential crisis, where it's like, oh God, like where do I go? Who am I going to be? Like, how do I sort of find my way? You know, I can't just say yes to everything. I have to question where I'm meant to go. And I think Mowgli's Road is a fantastic song. It definitely is relatable in that respect of confusion, you know, where the hell am I meant to go? What am I meant to be doing in my life? And I love the metaphors used about being chased by cutlery, and there's a fork in the road and all these silver spoons chasing after me. I absolutely loved it. When I first heard Mowgli's Road, I was really into it. I'm pretty sure my MSN name at one point was like, the cutlery will keep on chasing me. Because yes, I still had MSN in 2010. I clinged on to that quite hard. Mowgli's Road again is very quirky. It's very, you know, there's sort of like monkey sound effects. There's all kinds of like, you know, bonkers elements to the song that I think really make it come to life. It's exploding with personality. And I think it was a song that did get Marina noticed a lot more. Next, for track 6, we have Obsessions, which was Marina's first single to be released sort of for purchase. Obsessions is quite morose, dealing with sort of the complexities of a relationship. It details that kind of relationship where things maybe aren't as nice as they once were at the beginning, and now you're in that position where you really know each other and all each other's annoying habits, and how you get easily frustrated by little things that they do. I think structurally, I think it's a very good song as well, because it's the opening line is quite softly spoken and it's quite sweet, and then the pre-chorus is a lot more aggressive. The line like, won't you quit, you're crying, I can't sleep. It's like, fucking hell, like, it's a bit insensitive, isn't it? But I think Obsessions is really good. I really like those kind of songs where they tell a story and there's so much detail in the lyrics that it's not open to interpretation necessarily, because it's like, we're literally laying out in no uncertain terms what is happening in this song, you know. I love the verse about going to the supermarket and having an argument over which crackers to pick. And I understand that, because as a cracker connoisseur, it's very stressful sometimes. If the crackers that you normally go for are not there, and you have to pick another packet, it's really good though, because something as sort of minimal as picking a packet of crackers in a supermarket, and it causes all this anxiety and all these issues, and it's like, it's something that's seemingly insignificant, but it can really flare up those feelings. Then on to track 7, we have Hollywood, which was the first song I heard from the album. It actually reached number 12 in the UK singles chart, I remember, and I really liked it. I bought the CD single for it. I really liked Hollywood. It definitely goes into detail about our relationship with sort of American culture and how it sort of rots your brain effectively. You know, it's like you wanted Kissing in the Rain. It's like you want this Hollywood dream that is not ever realistic. The lyrics are somewhat sad when you think about it, but it's such a breezy, fun and happy sounding song that it's a good time. Even if you're sort of singing about, again, like the existential crisis elements of like, why isn't my life like a Hollywood movie? But it's like, oh, who cares, it's fun. And I thank Hollywood for being the song that introduced me to Marina as well. On to track 8, we have The Outsider. Now I really like The Outsider. It's a little bit dark, it's a little bit like someone who's a bit of an outcast, but then maybe they're a bit of an outcast because they don't know how to speak with people, and they maybe sort of, maybe they're an outsider for a good reason. Yeah, I relate to that song somewhat, you know, because I've often had that feeling of like, where do I belong? I really don't know. I don't relate to the line about being able to work a gun, though. I don't endorse that. You know, it's funny with The Outsider as well. I'm pretty sure the lyric, just because you know my name doesn't mean you know my game. I'm pretty sure that was probably an MSN name that I had at some point as well, because I was all like, ooh, you think you know me, but you don't, or I'm mysterious, whatever. Because I was being edgy. Then we have track 9, which is Hermit the Frog. Hermit the Frog is very much in that same sort of vein as Are you satisfied? It's again very quirky, and I think like the song title as well, Hermit the Frog. I'm surprised that the Muppets didn't sue her for that. I think Hermit the Frog kind of goes a bit more into that level again of the expectation of what it's like to be a woman. I like the lyric, you used to be so kind, I never knew you had such a dirty mind. I also like the lyric of you were looking for a dog, did you find your bitch in me? It is quite sassy and there's bite to it. Then on track 10 we have Oh No with an exclamation mark at the end of it. Oh No is an absolute banger. I absolutely love Oh No. It was a single as well. I was obsessed with the video, I was obsessed with the choreography where she does that for the Oh No bit. I absolutely love Oh No. It's very much sort of, again, another one of those existential crisis songs about sort of just wanting to be successful, not motivated by like financial gain or by a need for love or relationships, but just like, I just want to be successful, I don't want to be a failure. There's like the inevitable acceptance of, well actually yeah, I am gonna fail. You know. I think there's an element of I wanted to not be this thing so much that I've actually ended up becoming what I didn't want to be. I remember at a friend's 18th birthday party actually requesting the DJ to play it, and like I was the only person there who had heard it, and I was like really dancing along to it and loving it, and like no one else understood. Track 11 we have the song Rootless. Rootless is very much, again, in a very similar vein to a lot of previous songs. Lyrics about not knowing where they belong, you know, not having roots effectively. Their roots have been pulled up and they are sort of just endlessly searching for a place to belong. Rootless is quite morose again. There's an element of like, I sort of relate to that sometimes because again, it's a bit like, where do I belong, you know? I've always, throughout my whole adult life at least, always been like looking for that place to like belong, and I belong in like several different places. Then on to track 12, the penultimate track, we have Numb. Again, very much follows that, sort of sonically follows the same idea from the songs previously. Very much like a sister song to Rootless, another existential, who am I? Am I going about this the right way? Numb has some great vocals as well. I do really like the chorus. And again, it's very vulnerable as well. There is the lyric, forego family, forego friends. And it wasn't until I looked at the lyrics in the booklet for this video that I realised the lyric is actually forego family, forego friends. I've been singing fuck off family, fuck off friends the whole time because that's what I thought she was saying. I thought it was like fuck off family, fuck off friends, I want to be alone kind of thing. Turns out that is not correct. But then I'm always looking for ways to incorporate swear words into songs, so. And then closing the album we have Guilty, track number 13, singing about killing a dog. I don't know if that's a metaphor for something, or whether she literally killed a dog and feels bad about it. Because I mean, if I killed a dog, I'd feel bad about it. The lyrics seem to suggest that maybe it might have been a dog that she didn't save, maybe? Again, I'm not really sure, but if it helped her move on and get it off her chest, then, you know, good for her. And that ends the main body of the track listing. There are a couple of bonus tracks as well. There's a song called The Family Jewels, which is the title track. I believe that was an iTunes only track or something like that. It's a nice song. Again, it does sound very similar to what is on the rest of the album. So I don't really think it's bad that it was left off. We also have the song 17, which was one of Marina's very first songs. Originally on her EP Mermaid vs. Sailor, released on MySpace back in the day. And I absolutely love the video for 17. It's not on Marina's official YouTube channel, but it is on YouTube. And I don't know where it's filmed. It's filmed along some sort of canal somewhere. But she's wearing like this like sort of scene queen outfit. She's just literally just walking along the canal, like lip syncing the song. It's obviously quite low budget. I imagine there probably wasn't a huge budget back then because I don't even think she was signed when she did this video. But I just love it. I love the thought of being, I love the thought of like passers-by along the canal just being like, I kind of want to do like a frame for frame recreation of it at the Birmingham Canal. And then there is actually also a B-side called Bad Kids, which is a B-side to Hollywood. But it's not on the single that I have of Hollywood, and to be honest, I forgot to listen to it before I made this, so sorry, Bad Kids. What if Bad Kids is like Marina's best song and I just haven't listened to it and I don't know? Maybe I'll listen to it for next week's video and then fill you in on that one. And so that sums up the Family Jewels. I really do like the Family Jewels. I think it still sounds fresh. I think it's very unique and very stands among its own. I feel like back in 2010, you couldn't really compare Marina to any other major pop girl or British female singer of the time. With sort of later releases, there is an element of that with Marina, but with Family Jewels, I feel like she was very much in her own league, which I don't necessarily know that the industry liked, because it's like, we need to categorize you somewhere, and Family Jewels is just like, where are you gonna do that? The one criticism I would have of Family Jewels, I think, is it is quite samey, and this is an album that I've known for 11 years now, and there are still some of the songs on it, especially sort of the ones more towards the end, where I don't really know how I feel about the song, because they all sound very similar, and I don't really have like strong opinions sort of here nor there for those songs. But I still respect the craft behind them, and I think lyrically, everything on this album, with the exception of Girls, is really, really good. And I think this is an album that really, really sums up who Marina and the Diamonds at least was at that point. I think the Family Jewels is kind of a blueprint for the rest of Marina's albums that have followed since. Even if her more recent stuff isn't as eccentric as the Family Jewels, there's still a signature sound in the Family Jewels that's still present in like the majority of what she puts out nowadays. I think as far as debut albums go, it's pretty wonderful, and it definitely left me excited for more. And that is the end of part 1 of 4 of ElliXia's Discography Dives Marina edition. Thank you very much to everyone who's watched this video. I'm really looking forward to continuing to explore Marina's work in the lead up to her new album, and then of course expanding to other artists, because I have a lot of faves and I have a lot of opinions and I could talk about these albums and these artists for days, so I'm really looking forward to putting my niche conversation skills to good use. And of course, don't forget to tune in next week when we'll be discussing 2012's Electra Heart, one of my favourite albums of all time, so it's going to be a good one. And thank you once again for tuning in. I've been ElliXia Q Valentine, and remember, please book me. Mwah.